When I find the food trays are fairly empty, usually I try to give them more food sooner than it gets down to this level, because usually it's at this level they start fighting and are way too hungry. So first thing I do is I bring it over here to my chest that I keep everything in, and I take out my pan, and I then dump all the old food into that pan. This allows me to dump the old food back on top and let them continue eating. And so let's see. Start by grabbing a cupful of food. I pour that over half of the area. I grab another cupful of food and I pour that in the other half of the area. So that gets at least a nice layer of food in the bottom. And then I start adding other things. So one of the things I have is that I have biochar. And I usually end up sprinkling that into there. And then I grab a handful of the oyster shells. I add that in there. And then last, I have black soldier flies. I grab a handful of that, put a layer of that on there. And then I grab another cupful of feed. I pour it over half of it, cupful of feed, and I pour it over this half. So that gives plenty of food for them to eat with. And last step is I sprinkle the old food on top of it, so I don't really put any of that to waste, especially since they'll still eat some of that. And if there was anything left over, or it was usually parted in there. The fact that there was no oyster shells, it tells me that's a good thing, that they've been actually eating the oyster shells, and that may mean they're getting ready to start laying eggs. But that's how I go through and feed my birds.